Hey, room 36 students and parents. Mr. Morrison coming at you from the classroom on a beautiful Thursday evening. I just wanted to quickly cover three items. The first one being we're going to have our next curriculum exchange of materials on Monday, December 7th. So, same routine as before. I will go over with the students tomorrow what needs to go in their manila envelope to be returned, and this list is in Schoology as well. There's also some items to not return. So that will be Monday, December 7th from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. It'll be out front of the office. Please make sure that their manila envelope has their name clearly labeled. It just makes it easier for me to quickly figure out who hasn't turned theirs in and who has. So when you come on Monday, December 7th, they will drop off their goodies in their manila envelope and they will pick up a new manila envelope. And also, please pick up one of these packs of clay. There's 4 colors of clay in there. You need one pack for some art and holiday themed projects we'll be doing over the next 2 weeks. So this will get us the next 3 weeks worth of work, which will be the last 2 weeks of December, the first week of January, and then we'll have another exchange on January 11th. And I greatly appreciate you guys have been so awesome at helping your kids dropping off all the materials and picking them up, and it's just really helped me to make sure everybody has the materials that they need. So thank you so much for that. The second item that I would like to touch base on real quick, and the rest of this video is pretty much for the parents. So kids, if you want to go take a break now, it's fine with me. So the second thing, in this email, you're going to find a link to this Google form. This is a class communication form, and all it is I'd like to be able to give to everybody information about how to contact one another. So if Johnny and Sally want to have a Zoom play date or something along those lines, that you would be able to have each other's emails. I can't just give out everybody's emails. So if you would just fill this in, if you feel comfortable with whatever information you would be sharing with everybody in the class, you can fill in the areas that you want. And if you don't fill it out at all, that's perfectly fine too. So if you would fill out this Google form, and it's really easy, it's just my name and then your name, student name, and then any sort of contact information that you would like to share that I can share with the class. Because I've had some requests that, Bobby and Sally would like to be able to, socially distance, get together or talk on the phone or something along those lines. So thank you for taking the time to fill out that form, and I appreciate it. And if you don't feel comfortable filling that out, that's fine too. But just a reminder, anything that's put in here, I'm going to put into a spreadsheet, which I will send out to everybody next week, so you can have that contact information. Think about it like a directory for the class. Then the third thing, and this will be the longest portion of this, and again, students, if you want to sit and listen to this, it's fine, but really this is more for your parents. I wanted to talk about the report card really quick. So this is the new report card that came into place last year. And it's very different than the report card that I'm sure you and I had growing up, or that even existed the first 18 years of my teaching. We're not doing grades anymore, and I've talked at length before about why we're not doing grades, because the idea in elementary school is not who has the most extra credit or whose parents helped them the most on their work or those kind of things. The idea is that they want everybody to have this bucket full of tools going forward to middle school that they have mastered and they have a deep understanding of. So instead of having A's, B's, C's, D's, F's, incompletes, those kind of things, we have this scale, which is M, which is meeting standard, P, which is progressing toward the standard, T, which is need more time to meet the standard and area of concern. And what I wanted to do is just take a minute and kind of go through the report card before you look at it tomorrow. To view the report card, you need to go to the Smith School website, and at the top where there's the icons, you need to go to the one that says Illuminant Parent Portal. And I know almost all of you have been to that website. There are 2 people who haven't signed up to get the report cards yet, and I will be contacting you individually. If you need any help connecting to that, you can contact the office and they can give you your login information to access the report card. So tomorrow, I believe it's like 5 o'clock tomorrow, sometime in the afternoon after school, you'll be able to access the report card. And so what I wanted to do is just kind of walk through the different little sections here real quick, so we kind of understand what we're looking at, because it's really actually quite confusing. So let's just look at each piece here. So the first piece is reading. Now, here's what gets confusing. There's kind of a philosophical difference some teachers have in how they go about the report card. My philosophy is that if we haven't covered every single portion of what's in these subsections, then you really can't be meeting the standard yet, right? You're progressing. You're progressing because you've met the standards that we've covered so far, but you haven't met all the standards. Because if we look just at this example, foundational skills, knows and applies grade level phonics and word analysis skills to decode words, reads grade level text with sufficient accuracy and fluency to support comprehension. Well, if you get the report card tomorrow and your student has a P, that's the best that they can do, because we haven't covered the entire year of fourth grade yet. We've only covered the first third. So if they're progressing, it means that they're at a 4.3 or the third month of fourth grade reading level or above. And that's based on the assessments that we did the last week of school and me looking at their work and their success in turning in their assignments and those kind of things. But there's no way that they could be meeting, in my philosophy, I have different philosophy from the other teachers. Not all of them, many agree with me, but you're going to see that there's some different opinions here. So progressing is what we're looking for. Nobody in any of the English categories in my class can earn an M yet, because there's no way you could meet every single thing that we're going to learn for the entire year. Okay. Now, that's going to be for English language arts here, and the same over here for English language arts. This is all about comprehension and collaboration and presenting knowledge and ideas, and you're looking just for P's in those general areas. Okay, it's the same with math here. If we look at this, these are really big areas. So just looking at this one as an example, operations and algebraic thinking, uses 4 operations with whole numbers to solve problems. Well, we've done addition and subtraction, and we've done some multiplication, but we haven't done everything yet. So again, you're just looking for a P. You're looking for that they're progressing. Some of them will say NE, and that means we haven't covered them yet. So things like fractions. We're introducing fractions in our daily work, but I'm not assessing fractions yet or expecting them to be proficient in fractions yet. If we think about measurement and data, well, we've done some data, we did our line plots, but we haven't done a lot of measuring or conversions yet. We're just kind of like dipping our toe into the pool on those kind of things. So for all of those, you're just looking for a P. Same here with language and conventions of standard English. Well, if they're progressing, that means they're developing. But again, there's no way at this point that they could be mastering, because there's so many strands, standards, skills, power strands, whatever you want to call them in there, that progressing is what we're looking for. Now, writing's a little bit different. We just covered narrative writing this trimester, and I would say about half the class is going to get an M. That means they're meeting the standard. They can write a narrative at the level that I'm looking for, that we're looking for as fourth graders in general across the whole fourth grade at Smith here. So if they get an M, that's great. That means they are a solid writer. They are able to clearly use their story mountain. They're using complex grammar. They're indenting in the right place. They have all the capitals and periods, and it's spell check, grammar checked, and it's a solid story. If they get a P, they're also developing at a good rate. And I would say, a very solid amount of them are getting a P because they're progressing. Their stories are coming along, but they just need a little more work. And that's something we'll work on over the course of the year. So if they get a P, then what you're going to look for in the second trimester is, did they get to an M? Because the goal by the end of the year is that they're all capable narrative writers. Now, each trimester we cover a different writing, so we haven't covered informational or opinion yet. So those are going to have an NE, which means not evaluated. So on the front page here, you're really looking for P's, progressing, except for in the narrative area, there's still a P is still good. That means they're progressing. That means they're getting better. That means they've shown improvement. But there are some kids who have stepped it up and are hitting the area of mastery in that area. So if your kid doesn't have M's all over the page, please don't panic. If they have P's all over the page, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for that they're progressing in this situation. And by the end of the year, we turn all those P's into M's. Now, it gets a little different when we go to the second page of the report card. Of course it does, right? So you'll find that the comment section is over here. I filled everybody's comment section with all 550 characters that are allowable in there. I would love it to be even bigger because it would give me a chance to really give some more specific feedback. But unfortunately, it's pretty small on there. And so what I do is, at the end of the year, I'll provide you with more of like the baseline numbers in terms of fluency and reading comprehension, all the things I covered at the conference. But if I don't contact you about those things, that the kids are still on that upward mountain of they're growing in terms of fluency and comprehension. So this is usually just a narrative about how they did in distance learning, how they're doing in class, and I will put on their missing assignments, because it's always my goal that we don't have any missing assignments. And then, 1 or 2 missing assignments isn't a big deal, but it kind of is, because to me, I want 0 when it comes to missing assignments. All right, science. Mrs. Rad is doing the science grade, and she is philosophically different than I am. She decided that for each trimester, she'll just put for what she's covering that trimester an M if they've met the standard for that, a P if they're progressing towards the standard for that, and an AC, which means an area of concern. She's not doing the needs more time, I don't think. If she does, then it just means that they're in between area of concern and progressing. Area of concern, I talked to her, and if you're getting an area of concern, and there's a couple students who are, it's because they weren't showing up to her class. So it's Thursdays. It is Thursdays from 12:20 to 12:40. And if they got an AC, it's an attendance issue. And so that's something that's easily solvable. So you might get an M for science. That's very possible. Or you might get a P, and both are good. But if they get a T, which needs more time, or an AC, area of concern, then I would definitely reach out to her. It's easy to do, and she can give you more information on maybe what's going on with that. But she's in charge of all of science this year with distance learning. Social studies, that's back to me. You're going to be looking for a P, that they're progressing, because we have studied map skills and Native Americans, and we started to get into missions. But we got a lot of California history still to cover. So if they're progressing, great. They've been doing the newspapers, they've been doing their activities, they've been taking the quizzes, they're doing a good job. And at the end of the year, that's when we'll find if they can get the M for meeting or not, because we still have to cover the statehood, gold rush, the Wild West early California, the development of the economy of California, and modern day California, along with the branches of government. So there's still a long way to go. So again, we're looking just for a P. Okay, PE is a tough one this year. I have a very elaborate system when we're at school for PE. We learn different skills every week, and they get feedback on that. And then I have the mile run that we do every other week, and then the pacer test. Unfortunately, this year, I don't have that data. So what I've done is, if they have been finishing their PE, doing their push-ups and sit-ups and curl-ups and submitting that data, then they are going to get a progressing. That means that they are progressing, that they're doing their PE. And during the second and third trimester, I have some ideas of how I can monitor more of what they're doing in terms of PE. But for now, if they have a P, it means they're progressing. It means they've done their work. If they have an AC, area of concern, it means they haven't been turning in any of the logs. And there's only one or two like that. Visual and performing arts, same idea. It's a P if they're progressing, if they've been doing the artwork with me, if they've been following it along in the art lessons. And then we get to the bottom ones here. So these ones are technology and habits of success. And those are ones that I will give an M for, because they're observable traits, right? So for example, follows rules and directions. They're either meeting, or it might be progressing if every now and then there's an issue, or it might be an area of concern if there's somebody who's not. So we are looking in this area here, habits of success, we are looking for M's for meeting. And if it's P for progressing, it means maybe there's something going on there. The one you'll see the most is this one: stays on task and completes assignments on time. There's probably a third of the class is going to get a P there, because they needed some extra reminding, nagging that, hey, you got to turn in your Tuesday spelling sentences. You got to turn in your reading log. And so you might see on the report card 0 missing work, but I've marked that as a P for progressing. And that's because it probably wasn't turned in on time. They get it eventually, but those are the little things that we're working on. Same with maybe organize itself and material. If I'm hearing, I call on them and I'm like, okay, what was your annotation? They go, oh, I can't find my reader. Then maybe that's a progressing as well too. If you have any questions about that, or any questions about the report card in general, I'm always here to help you out. But I just wanted to take a minute and kind of clarify those things. Anyways, your kids are awesome. I can't believe we're a third of the year done. We have about 2 weeks and 1 day, and then we'll have 2 weeks off, and then we'll come back in January and we'll see where things go. Maybe we'll be back in the classroom sometime after January 18th, 19th, whatever it is, and maybe we won't. I don't know any more information about that. A few people did reach out to me and they asked, well, if we go back to this hybrid schedule, what will I do? And I'm going to tell you that I wouldn't get to choose. I'm a very healthy human being. So if we come back, and the people who would be on distance would be people more than likely, of course, none of this is set in stone, but more than likely who have some sort of medical issue where they, if they were to get COVID, would have some sort of larger scale problem. So my anticipation is, if we come back, this is where I will be. But again, there's no guarantee to that, because nobody really knows what's going to happen next with all that. But with that in mind, your kids are awesome, and I hope everybody has a great day. Thanks, guys.